And hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Want to wish everybody a happy Independence Day on today, July 4th, 2024. Hard to believe we're all still alive here, isn't it? And I remember back in the 80s, man, it's like, man, I wonder if we'll still be alive when 2000 hits, right? Anyway, let's go over and say hi to everybody, see who got the cookie. Looks like Joe Rader, Black Rock Central Railroad, he got the cookie. All right, man. It's a big, glorious cookie, by the way. Enjoy your cookie, Joe. Glad you're here. And MH&E Railroad, which is Thomas, he got the half cookie. And he still has the same channel name. I think he's setting a record now. What have you had, about 2 weeks now? Just messing with you, I have to. And he says, I'll send you a Conrail hairpin spike. That's cool, man. I'm looking forward to getting that. Thank you. And we have Gerald Stewart. Hey, Gerald, how's it going? Happy 4th to you, too. And we have Mom and Son Train Rail fans, Tammy and Ray. Tammy, I hope you're feeling better. I know you had some back work done, and that's not fun, I'm sure. My mother-in-law had an operation on her back. I think it was something very similar. And she healed up, but it took a while. Anyway, all the best to you. We'll pray for you that you get healed real quick. And we have Hot Dog Pilot Andy. Andy, how's it going? Happy 4th to you. Even though it's not quite the same for our friends across the pond. But hey, what the hell, right? And let's see, who else do we have here? And we have Curly Express. Dwight says, hi, Big Jim. Well, hi, Dwight. Good to see you here. And let's see, who else? I think that about covers it, maybe. Oh, no, we got Train Man 1. Hey, Mickey. How's it going? Good to see you here. So I wasn't expecting too much of a turnout tonight because, you know, I figure some of you guys will probably want to go out and either play with your own fireworks or go watch the city or counties, you know. Here, I kind of got over the whole fireworks thing, and not that big of a deal anymore, really. But, you know, for those who can still get into it, that's cool. Anyway, I've been busy all week, imagine that. I don't know where I got this second wind from, but I'm going to run with it as long as I got it. So I've been spending time in the train room and doing a lot of printing. Matter of fact, I was helped out Crooked Dave, Crooked River and Eastern. He's got a printer just like mine, the Hallett, and which is made by Creality. And he was having some problems with it because he's still kind of a newbie, but I helped him walk through it. I think he's well on his way to becoming an expert printer. So, and even though I've been doing this for a while, I'm still learning stuff myself. It's never an easy task to do this stuff when you got new technology. And Tammy says, hi guys, nope, the boys and dogs don't like fireworks, but getting ready to take a happy pill and try to rest. Well, you take care too, Tammy. I'm lucky. My dogs aren't afraid. My late dogs were. Turbo was terrified of the fireworks. Buddy, he would attack them if I took him outside on a leash. Every time I heard one go off, he'd start barking and trying to bite it, even though he was nowhere near it. And he was Turbo was really the only one that had a real problem with him. So, and Pogo seems to be doing all right. He doesn't really care if it's loud and close. It'll startle him, but other than that, he doesn't really care. So that's cool. Yeah, Joe, that's true, and there's a lot of that here. People do, even in Naples, people would fire off guns, which is I don't have an issue with, except firing in the air. What goes up must come down. And if you're gonna shoot it on 4th of July, shoot it into the ground. At least you know where the bullet's going. Shooting in the air is stupid. And I'm sure they do it here too, but I hope they have a little better sense here to, shoot in the ground. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. So, get back to printing here. I've been experimenting with some different things. This is helping Crooked River and Eastern Dave Thurber out. He asked me for some files, which I gave to him. And I'm utilizing some of them myself, too. I had the files. I just haven't used them yet, But this here is your signal box. And I had to do it twice because the first one were way too big. If I put them side by side, you can see the difference. So this one here is the correct size for HO. So I'm going to print up a bunch of them because I will be utilizing them on all my turnouts. Thomas says, man, Jim, I remember the cherry bombs. Boy, they were fun. And you still have all 10 of your fingers, right? I do too. I mean, we had ash cans, cherry bombs, in the 80s. My cousin, he used to make fireworks back in the day, when we were kids. Every 4th of July, I'd come over to the house with a big box of everything you could think of. Like I said, all the good stuff, skyrockets, M80s, cherry bombs, ash cans, all the really good stuff. The stuff you could seriously hurt yourself with and lose fingers. Fortunately, we were not stupid, and we didn't blow off any fingers or hands. But it seems like there's always somebody somewhere that has to lose a finger or a hand because they're just stupid, When you light it, you let go of it, don't hold it and look at it. And that happened more often. I don't know if they panic or freeze or what, but, you can't fix stupid, I guess. Let's see. Anything else going on there? Hey, Chasco, Chuck, how's it going? Good to see you here, man. Happy 4th of July to you. Thomas says, I played with fire. Well, I think we all did, Thomas. Like I said, back in the day, unless you're a complete moron, they were relatively safe. Because you can't fix stupid. Hey, JD, Grandpa Rails, how you doing? Happy 4th to you. So, anyway, get back to printing. So, I found this file a few months ago, and this is the first time I printed it. It's a backhoe. And it's HO scale, so the size is right. And I usually compare things with figures, HO scale figures. I have seated figures, I have standing figures. The seated figures fit in the seat properly. It's, probably scaled right. So like I said, this came out really nice. And I'll tell you what, the resin printer doesn't leave out any details whatsoever. I mean, it's all very detailed stuff, so I'll be making more of those. Now, I did make these, but they're definitely too small. Once again, I've got to scale them out right. This is a grater. But the file itself, I mean, it was like Z scale. It was literally that big. And I had to blow it up. And sometimes it's not as easy to size these things out right. So you have to usually play, back and forth whether you get it right. And JD reports 16 people in the chat and 10 likes. Come on, guys. We're short by 6 likes. Please, please smash the like button. Hey, Rick's Trains. Rick, how's it going? Good to see you here. What does he say? Hi, Jim. What are you going to do with that box that is too big? I will buy it if you don't want it. Oh, I got 6 of them. If you want them, I'll give them to you. Just pay for the shipping. Like I said, I've got 6 of them. And they're not that big. I mean, they're you could probably utilize them even in HO scale, but it's not technically the proper size. But if you want them, there's my email down there. Shoot me an email with your name and address, and I'll box them up and figure out what the shipping is. And I take PayPal, so we'll get that taken care of for you if you want. And tell me how. I say you can have all of them if you want. Like I said, I'm not going to charge you for them. Just the shipping on it. And the shipping is going to be the same whether I send you 1 or send you 6. So let me know. Let's see. Thomas says, I was an idiot back in the day, like most of us. And my cousins, we threw firecrackers at each other. We have burn marks on. We used to do that with the bottle rockets. We'd like go on one side of the property, and have something to sort of protect us a little bit. And friends would be on the other side of the property, and they'd have something to cover, and we'd be aiming bottle rockets at each other. Every now and then you got hit. Nobody got hurt, but a few minor burns. That was about it, So yeah, we've all done stupid shit like that and lived to tell the tale. Joe says, I need a couple of front end loaders and cement mixers. Well, I can print up the cement mixers with no problem. I thought I just did one, but I didn't. And the front end loader, well, like I said, do you want this particular type of one? Or do you want one with just a bucket on the front? Let me know. Because I've got this one, but I think I've got one with just a bucket too. Like you said, shoot me an email anytime. If anything you're interested in, let me know. If I don't have it, I could probably get it. And, I don't charge a lot of money for any of this stuff. I'm a lot cheaper than pretty much everybody. Yep, the back type. Okay, yeah, like I said, I'll print up them. How many do you want? 1, 2, 100? You let me know. I'll print them up and we'll get them out to you. Usually I get, for these, I get like, probably $6 each plus shipping. If you buy more, maybe a little cheaper, but like I said, it costs the same shipping whether I ship 1 or 20. Papa John Trains, how you doing? Happy 4th of July, sir. Hope you're having a good day and a fun day. If you have family, hope you're enjoying time with them. All right, Joe, I'll be looking forward to that email. Thank you. So, now another one. So I was watching Morning Brew this morning, with Dave Thurber. And I can't remember who the hell it was. I think it was a guy named Matt, maybe. I don't remember. But one of the guys on his channel was looking for a propane truck. Now, he's actually looking for a tractor trailer setup, which I don't have one, but I can get one. But I do have. Now, you guys have all seen. I made this one some time back. Tough to see with my big fat fingers covering half of it. And I decaled it and everything. And this whole thing is printed. It came out really nice. I actually have two. I have one that's for propane, and I have one that's for emptying septic tanks. Now, the honey wagon. Well, I decided that a lot of the modern stuff have a shorter tank on it. So I went ahead and created this one. And it's not bad looking. Like I said, I sell these things undecorated, so same thing with this one. This will go for $8 plus shipping too. And this is more in line with what's actually running around on the streets today. So if you're running the modern era, this is probably what you're looking for. If you're running older stuff, then well, this one here is somewhat modern, but it doesn't have the details. I was not real happy with it. But still, it's not bad. But I think back in the day, and this is built actually, the cab itself, the truck is a deuce and a half, military. and I put the tank on it, and I had to lengthen it to make it work, lengthen the truck. But like I said, this has a really big tank on it. But all the modern stuff has the shorter tank, so you let me know if anybody's interested in something like that. Plus, I have an assortment of propane tanks. Have a slightly smaller one, standalone for like in a business. And I have some really smaller ones for like housing. That's not it. And I've got a bunch. I printed up a bunch of them because I'm going to put some on the house, but you can see them in there. And these are, like I said, more of a residential size. I guess you'd call them out, what about 250, 300 gallons, somewhere around there. Or pounds, however they measure propane. Papa John says he's at a cookout, so you must be watching on your phone. That's cool. Stuff in your face? I wish I was somewhere stuff in my face right now. My wife's daughter and grandkids came down from Michigan to visit. They've been here for like almost 2 weeks, and so she's been taking her a granddaughter, my stepdaughter, took her mother. They went to Disney World and they went down to Naples, and they've been traveling all over the place doing different things. They were up in Orlando today. So I was left alone to fend for myself, which wasn't too bad. And I remembered how good of a cook I really am, so although I hate cooking. So yeah, that's been pretty much it. I spent most of the day in here, actually. So I went next door in the main house for lunch and then dinner. Because I've been busy. That intro that I did, the 4th of July intro, that took me like 3 hours to put that together. And I better not get in trouble for copyright violation for the music, because the music I downloaded said it was royalty free, which means there's no copyright on it. So I better not get any shit from YouTube. That was the biggest problem, was finding stuff I could put on there, because I got in trouble for that once already for running a song. And they hit me. I got a strike for it for the first time, which is not that big of a deal, but second strike they ban you, I think, for 2 weeks from getting on YouTube, putting up anything. And like I said, I actually got banned from YouTube chat for 24 hours the other day for commenting that any traitor to the United States should be hung, which is an actual real thing. I mean, it's in the Constitution. If you commit treason, you die. And I got in trouble for saying that. A bunch of damn assholes, And anyway. So, what else am I doing? Oh, yeah, so, I've been printing constantly. And if you look over here, swing the camera out a little bit, you'll see that this printer here, that one there, is in quite a disarray. Actually, I got it all apart. A hot end went bad in it, and it's a fairly new hot end. I bought it like 6 or 7 months ago, replaced it, and it burned out already. So, of course, remember, I play hell on these printers. This is basically, it's supposed to be like all silver, but it gets scorched over time, and the heat break that goes in here, it's a small tube, it just snapped off, because that's where the heat sink comes in, goes on top of it. And now it can't, because it just snapped off, so this is junk. So I ordered another one from Amazon. It'll be here Saturday. And then I'll have the printer back up and running again. Now the other one, the old one, it's still going. I'm actually giving it a rest right now, but it's actually doing better than the newer one did. I tell you, they just don't make good parts anymore. It's all garbage. So that's where we're at with that. I have been busy printing now. Printers, actually, both of them have been running literally 24/7 for about the last 2 weeks. And I'm still nowhere near completed for my overhead rail or elevated rail. I still have to do another terminal building for this side of the layout. It'll be a little smaller than the other one you saw. I showed it to you last week. So there's a lot to go here, and I put together a short video. It's only a few minutes long, and I'm going to play it for you now to show you what I've actually done on the elevated rail that I've got done so far. So here you go. Check it out. All right. Well, here's what I've been doing the last week. Been putting the overhead rail in, and there's the terminal. It's finished. I just got to hook up the wire to get lights in there. But I did complete it. It goes all the way down here so far. Now I had to make special towers for these dips. They go all the way down there. I've actually got 3 of them in. It actually came out really nice, so happy about that. And we're still going down further. And then we ended over here. And once again, I utilized the old towers. I just had to make new tops for them. You can see the new tops there that are the right height. And they go all the way down under here. So that worked out pretty good. And that's as far as I've gotten so far, so stay tuned for more at a later date. So there you have it. Now it's not fastened down permanent yet. I've got to glue everything down, but I want to build some concrete bases, well, simulated concrete bases for the taller ones in the valley, because the way I had them there, it's not very good. So and I've got to get the track. There's still a little bit of a dip, like right there in the middle, about maybe 2 millimeters. So I got to get that leveled out. I want this time I'm making the track dead perfect as far as leveling goes. I don't have the track down yet. That'll be last. But I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks or so I can get the elevated rail all the way back around to this side, and I've got to design I'm going to design a different terminal for this side. It won't be the same as the other one. I just got to plug in the wire onto that one. I got to bring the wife in here and have her get underneath the bench and plug it into the power supply, and then I'll have lights. So that's all. I changed the lighting in that the fluorescent lighting. They were too big before and they were too far forward, so I really narrowed them out and made them thinner. They look more like actual fluorescent lighting now, and they're back at the back toward, and it lights up pretty good. So, but like I said, sometimes you just got to keep playing with things, until you get it right. And it looks like Crooked River. Your ears were burning, weren't they, Dave? I was just talking about you. Really good to see you here, and happy 4th. And Ken Amos Jr., happy 4th to you, sir. Good to see you here. So that's pretty much all I've been doing as far as printing goes. And like I said, I had to reuse the towers down on the end, because the single towers that I'm using over here, I can only build them up to, I think it's 245 millimeters. I needed 257 millimeters. Couldn't build them that tall. So I didn't want to do it in pieces. So I said, I still got the old towers. So I knocked the tops off them and made the custom block that goes on top of it. And boom, they work perfectly. So I was able to utilize them anyway. Me too. Yeah, I hear you, Dave. I was just showing off some of the things I was printing. Um, I said I've actually been busy. I got the new boxes. They're the right size now. So I think I sent you the file for the new size. The problem was the old ones were too big. Now, Joe Rader says he wants them and he can have them. That's not a problem, but see the difference in size? This is the actual scale HO. You could use this probably for something else, or if you're not real particular. But anyway, so make sure, I'm pretty sure I sent you the file for the new size. But if I didn't, let me know and I'll send it to you. Same with the backhoe. I printed this out. This came out real nice. And I remember we were talking about the propane trucks this morning on Morning Brew. I don't have a tractor trailer one yet. I'll make one. But I did set up this one here. This is a more modern one with a short tank. This is what I actually see on the streets, even here. Actually, the guy that brings my propane for a gas stove, this is what his truck looks like, pretty much. So, except I think he's driving a Ford, but I don't know what model this looks like in International. But if anybody's interested in these, let me know. Like I said, I don't decorate them or decal them because you've already seen this one here. This was the first one I made, but this is more of an older style, probably like from the 40s or 50s, because it uses a 1.5 deuce military truck. And I stretched it to accommodate the longer tank. You mean this one here looks like a sewer truck? They're basically about the same. I think they use literally a similar truck for both, you know, except the propane has the extra valve on there. I think it's a vent, which you wouldn't have on the septic tank emptying trucks there or whatever. So I will do that, Dave, no problem. Rick says, you sent me an email for those big boxes. Cool. All right, thank you. I'll check it out either later or tomorrow. So, that's what I was doing. I was telling everybody the one, go back to it. My filament printer, the newer one, it broke down on me. The damn, hot end went out on it. So I ordered a new hot end. I'll have it Saturday and we'll be back up and running. But I tell you, these printers, they take a beating and they do break, you know. But it is what it is. So anyways, that was pretty much all of my printing. Dave, you have to check the replay. I shot a quick video of my elevated rail so far. And I've got it almost this one side is done. And I've got to make the curve. I saved the old curve pieces. I'm going to reuse them. Do the curve and then do the back there. It's going to be a short section. Another curve and then straight up here. And instead of having a curve over here, I'm just going to have it dead end. Just like I did on that one there. You can see the dead end of the rail goes past the terminal. So that's my plan for that. And what else am I doing here? Okay, you came in as soon as you were playing the video. Cool. So, yeah, so I moved the Hallet over here. And the Anycubic is right behind it. And I've been using the Hallet just because I wanted to make sure that, you know, there was, and I haven't had any problems since I bumped up the, whatever it's called. not resolution, damn, I can't remember the word. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So it's working fine now. So I got a hell of a deal. I only paid $60 for that machine. Like I said, I think somebody probably returned it. I mean, it may have had a weak LED in there to begin with. Who knows? And they didn't have enough exposure. That's the word I was looking for. They may not have known how to change the exposure. They sent it back. So I bought it as an open box. It's basically brand new. I couldn't even see where they actually... I mean, if they didn't use it, or if they did use it, they repacked it really well because it looked like it was brand new. You know? So for $60, I figure I got a deal. Now, of course, that was right after I bought the AnyQ because the first Howlet, like I said, I had a problem with the FEP film in the bottom of the vat. It broke, breached, and it ruined half the machine, That's why you got to be really careful with the FEP on the bottom of the vat. Even if there is a breach, you got to catch it real quick. Don't continue using it because you'll ruin stuff. And that LCD screen, I think Amazon had, it was either Amazon or eBay. A brand new one was $90. And I'm thinking, well, damn, I only paid $150 for the whole machine. And some of you guys like Dave, he got his even cheaper. That's how they get you, though. Here, we'll sell you the machine quick, but when it breaks, we're gonna bend you over hard. And that's what they do. It sucks. So, anyway, that's that story, and I'm sticking to it. So I don't do anything. We don't do anything for 4th of July. I mean, I haven't celebrated 4th of July with fireworks in probably 10 years. Well, I can't afford them anymore, and I think the last time I bought fireworks, I spent like $500. They have a fireworks store at Fort Myers down in Florida, down by Naples, and I didn't get much for that money. I mean, it's fun and all, but you blow $500 in a couple hours, and to me, that's not really that's not a good return on your investment. So, but yeah, see, Dave says he thinks he paid $105 for his Howlet printer, which was a hell of a deal. Like I said, the only good thing that come out of it is I still have the old one. Everything but the LCD screen is a replacement part if I need it. And that was the only thing that was really damaged in it. The LCDs are fine, or LEDs are fine. The circuit board, control board is fine. Cooling fans are fine. The Z drive is fine if this one ever breaks. So, like I said, overall, I figure I still had a good investment going there. Rick says, we didn't even go see the fireworks, same stuff every year, just stayed home and went. Yeah, I mean, I used to go to the beach in Naples and watch the fireworks. And it was so chaotic. I mean, you had to get there like 3 hours early just so you can get a decent parking space. Because, it seemed like half of Florida went there, There's literally probably 15, 20,000 people on the beach, And parking was very limited. I mean, a lot of people take a chance and park, in people's property and stuff and wind up with tickets or even getting towed off. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to get in a proper parking space. That wasn't, 3 miles away either. So, like you said, you get there, you watch the fireworks. I mean, honestly, I thought the fireworks display sucked. Except for one year. One of the firemen, he got blown off the pier. Apparently the skyrocket flew off quicker than it was supposed to, and it actually launched him off the pier. He didn't get hurt, but, that was like the big thing, but, it gets old after a while. It's not really a big thrill. A town full of millionaires, maybe even a couple of billionaires, and they can come up with $10,000 worth of fireworks. That's it. I'm going, seriously? We should have like the best fireworks display on the planet with all the rich people, because most of it's based on donations, throughout the year they'll take donations for fireworks for the 4th. And it was really pathetic, you know. It's like, yeah, this sucks, you know. I could do this at home for half the money. So after a while, I just quit going. Of course, when it was all over, the smart move was just sit there and wait until everybody got in their cars and got the hell out of Dodge. Because otherwise, the cops are out there looking for anything they could pop you for. You know, seatbelt violation or, you know, riding too close to the guy. I mean, just that's all. That's what it was. It was a big revenue generating thing. And I said, you know what, screw that. So I just stopped going after a while. You know, pointless. Dave says, how long can I leave the resin in the vat? Like, I'll probably print some more tomorrow night. No, you can actually leave it in there for like weeks at a time, but make sure you stir it up before you print. You know, just take your plastic spatula or whatever and just, you know, mix it up a little bit. Because what happens is, my understanding of it is, the atomic structure of the resin separates when it isn't shaken. There sits a long time, so it may or may not print well. So mix it up, but you can leave it in the vat as long as you don't get any UV light near it. It will stay there for a very, very long time. So you don't have to worry about that. I usually keep the stuff in there for 3 or 4 days till I'm sure I'm done printing, and then I'll empty it out, clean everything up. Georgia Sunbelt. Hey, Anthony. Happy 4th, man. No fireworks here. It's storming. Well, that kind of sucks, but I guess it saved you a trip to the beach, didn't it? We don't have any rain here, amazingly. It's still 91 degrees outside. It was pretty hot today, but I was in here in the air-conditioned environment, so I really didn't care, you know. Let's see. I'm getting behind in the chat here a little bit, I see. I'm pulling a Dave. The Rick Strade says, last year, a person got ran over and killed because someone wasn't paying attention while leaving. Yeah, and that's another. There's always accidents, you know, fender benders and stupid shit like that. It's just not worth the aggravation. It really isn't. I don't think, anyway. Good to know. Yeah, it is. I looked into all that stuff as soon as I got involved in the printing with it, so, because I had the same questions you did, and probably even more. So I'll pass on what I know to anybody else. Fosteria, Ohio Model Railroad. Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Happy 4th to you. So, I don't know. I said, I got so much to do. I complain I must sound like a big whiner, you know, because I say this every week. I got this to do, I got that to do, you know, and I'm not getting anything done. And you know why? Because I'm fucking lazy. I gotta get the starter changed out in my Ford Ranger. I need the truck to buy more wood so I get more work done here. So it's not really a big job. It's 3 fucking bolts, you know, and a couple of wires. It's just a matter of, I got to get on the ground, get on my back, get under the thing, and take it off. Yeah. And it's actually a very easy job to do, from what I understand. Dave says, I'm your guru. Oh, that's scary. Well, I don't know if it's more scary for you or me. Could go either way, I guess. So that's like a minor job, though, in comparison. I still have to do the air conditioning in my car, my Grand Marquis. Matter of fact, I got to go to Naples in August next month for a doctor's appointment. I'm seriously kicking around, just renting a car for the day. I don't want to go down there with no air conditioning. It's kind of ridiculous. The whole thing is stupid when you get down to it, but I have to go down there because they got to check the battery in my pacemaker too. And they wanted to do it every 6 months, and I said no. It's good for 9. I think it's good for 9 or 10 years. It's only 4 years old. We'll do it once a year. You know, maybe when we get toward the last couple of years, then maybe we'll do it twice. And there's supposed to be an alarm in there. It's supposed to let me know when it's going dead anyway. So the bottom line is I have to go down there. And literally it's an hour and a half to 2 hour drive each way to spend 15 minutes in the doctor's office. And it'll wind up costing me probably $200, maybe $3 when you factor in the car rental for the day and a full tank of gas, which maybe I'll just get a little shit box. I don't know. I hate driving little cars, but if it gets really good mileage, might be able to do the whole trip on a half a tank of gas. You know, even my car, my Grand Marquis, I can usually do it. Yeah, just over a half a tank each way, which isn't bad. You know, it's like 120 some miles each way. And I have a heavy foot, so you know that doesn't help any either. Let's see. Rick says, I haven't had the time to run trains. I have to take care of my mother's place and my own place, plus work. Yeah, that's unfortunately, life gets in the way of our hobby sometimes. Yeah, I feel for you, man. I know how it is, you know. I have a lot of time to screw around in here, but not as much as I'd like. Andy says, when I had to do that, Rick, I didn't have time to fart. Now, that's bad. You always make time to fart. That's awesome, Jim. A doctor that keeps his appointments on time. He's actually really good. Actually, probably the only doctor that is that way. I have 3 doctors. My primary's up here in Sebring, and I go see him. I always go early. You know, I'll get there like anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes early because I don't want him waiting on me, and I'm weird about punctuality. So I get there on time, and the next thing you know, he's still out to, like my primary, he goes out to lunch usually the time that I schedule it. And it doesn't matter when I go, it seems, because he's always got an excuse. And it takes about a half an hour for me to get in to see him after my appointment time. And then when he is done with me, it takes another 15 minutes to get the paperwork done so I can get my next appointment and get down the road. These people are just turtle slow, you know. My kidney doctor, who's also up here in Sebring, he's not too bad. He'll get you in the room real quick, but then you sit in the room for 10 to 20 minutes waiting on the doctor to get in there, and you know, listen to your heart for 3 minutes, and then okay, see you in 3 months. So we talk about easy money, right? It's kind of a big scam they got going on, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, I could probably listen to my own heart and just tell the doctor, well, what do you think? Oh, it's fine. It sounds good, you know, except for the pacemaker testing. But I could probably get that done here, too. But I don't know. I don't trust these idiots up here. When I was down there last year, I got the pacemaker checked. And it's all remote control Wi-Fi. So they throw this thing over your shoulder near the pacemaker. Doesn't make any actual contact, but it's close. It's basically a Bluetooth, or probably Bluetooth. And she says, well, I'm going to slow down your heart so you may feel a little weird for a second. All right, whatever. So she does. She slowed it way down, right? I felt like shit. So she kept it that way for like 10 minutes. I go, are you going to put that back or what? Oh, I forgot. Really? How much do you get paid again? You know, what the hell's wrong with these people? It could be, Dave, actually. I was supposed to get this device that, well, me and Tom Grassi, because he's got a pacemaker too. I think it's the same brand as mine, but it's a little different. Mine's a three-way deal. It keeps my pulse steady, and it's a sequencer because my heart doesn't work properly anymore. So it basically fires off the valves when they're supposed to, open and close them. And then it has a defibrillator, so if my heart does stop, it'll give me a kick in the ass to get it restarted again. Dick Cheney had, I think, the same thing. Remember Dick Cheney? And he had, 40 heart attacks before, I guess he finally died. I don't know. You know, big Dick Cheney. Yeah, so anyway, they had this deal where it was a device that went to your house, used a landline, which I had a landline for a while, and I would get one again if necessary. But I never got the device. I inquired about it, and they said, well, we'll look into it. You know, just never heard anything more about it. So I said, well, screw it. So, like I said, mine's 4 years old, so it'll probably be replaced in another 6. Maybe they'll have something completely different. Maybe it'll run through your cell phone next time. Who the hell knows, you know? They're always making it. That, all I know is that thing cost $36,000 to sit in my chest. You know, I didn't have to pay for it, thank God. Medicare did, but 36 grand. That's like a cheap car, you know? At least they last longer than a cheap car does anyway. Sounds like a car distributor. In a way it is. You know, like I said, the sequencer is kind of weird because I don't know what happened. Like I said, I wouldn't call it a massive heart attack, but my heart was just simply giving out. It just didn't want to work anymore. And they were actually talking at one point of doing a transplant. I said, no, not going to happen. You know, I don't want somebody else's heart. I want to keep my own. You know, if you can't do it, then let the chips fall where it may. But, so they said, well, we have a pacemaker that can monitor the valve operation, the 4 valves in your heart, and make them open and close the way they're supposed to. It's called a sequencer. All right, put it in there. What the hell, you know? So I assume it's working. I'm still breathing, so, you know. If it quits, I don't know what happens. Do I die? Maybe. I don't know. You know. I try not to think about it too much. You know, it is what it is. But like I said, the point of it is, though, is like I said, driving down to Naples, and it's way, way hotter down there than it is up here. And it's fucking hot up here. So, that's a good one, Ken. You got an OB2 checkup port on that pacemaker. Wouldn't that be something? Have a port under your arm or something you plug. That's too weird even for me, but I think eventually they'll probably have a wireless app that'll probably hook into your phone that'll monitor it. Because the other one was like when you're sleeping, it would, you know, the one that works with the landline, it would monitor if something happened, if it was something unusual going on, it would automatically call the doctor and say, hey, this guy's having problems with his pacemaker, better get him in here so we can figure it out. So I suspect that the next round, that's probably what they're going to do. Because they're putting everything in the damn phones anyway, you know. Which kind of sucks because I don't know how much longer I'm going to have a cell phone. I'm using a 4G now, and I will not have a 5G. And the way they're talking, they're already talking about 6G, which is even worse than 5G. You know, I think I think overseas you're using 6G already in some places. So, crazy. Once that turn it up, I feel like tap dancing. Dave says they have an app for those Dexcom blood glucose meters. Yeah, I heard that. Well, actually, I have an app for my meter too. Because my meter transmits through Bluetooth every time I do a blood draw. And it's kind of nice because what it does is it keeps track of my A1C, which normally I'd have to go for the doctor for that. So I think it's every 20 blood draws, it'll calculate your A1C, which not too bad, you know. I don't know how accurate it is, but hey, you know, whatever works. Hey, Chuck Schreiber, how you doing? Good to see you here. Happy 4th of July, sir. Good to see you here. Jim, I think you're the OG. What the hell's an OG? I don't know about that, but I've been lucky that I've been able to adapt well to the new technology. So I don't really want to sometimes, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Ken says, I make fun of it, but they are serious business. That's true. Like I said, it's amazing. I mean, realistically, I mean, if they didn't have that stuff, I probably would have died, and that would have been the end of it. Well, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, would we? And I really thought I was going to anyway, because in Naples, when I went to the ER, they went ahead and they did an exploratory on me, and they found out I had 2 blocked arteries and my heart was failing miserably, and was having kidney issues. And they basically, the doctors, well, you might as well just go home and make peace and prepare to die. And I'm thinking, okay, that's good advice. Is that the best you can do, And it wasn't overly, well, of course, I was so morphined up, it probably wouldn't have made a difference anyway. But finally, another doctor came out and he said, look, he says, if you want to live, you got to get out of this hospital and go up to Orlando. And he sent me to the Advent Hospital up in Orlando, which is actually the best cardiac unit in Florida. Even though Naples claims they are, but they're full of shit. And they took care of me. I was in ICU for, I think, 10 days, 12 days, something like that. But I didn't know I was that sick. They told me I had pneumonia, sepsis, my kidneys were failing, my heart was failing, and I'm walking around having a good old time. I'm thinking, I don't feel that sick. I mean, I probably was, I guess. I mean, they were, I had a couple IVs in me, pumping me full of antibiotics for the sepsis and the pneumonia. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I really didn't feel bad. And, grace of God, here I am. So, So if you're ever in Naples and you get sick, don't go to the hospital there, because you'll probably die. Ken says, my oldest daughter has that after blood sugar and wears a patch. That reports, oh yeah, I've seen those too. I'm leery about that. They had problems with those. Some of them, and that was, I'm very resistant to new stuff. It's like that new shot they give you for diabetes that helps you lose weight. But there's so many side effects to it. It's like, nah, I don't think so, And there's something to do that class of drug, because they've got several different medications that do the same thing, and they're all injectable. But, they got one that messes up your face somehow. And then they got another one that could actually cause heart attack or stroke. And it's like, nah, I don't need any of that shit. I shoot insulin. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but at least it's relatively safe, The worst that can happen is you take too much, you'll start to crash. All you got to do is eat, Like I said, I've had it where, like, in the middle of the night, I'll start crashing, it'll wake me up, and, oh shit, I'm crashing. So, peanut butter sandwich and a soda. Slam the soda, eat the sandwich, boom. Sugar comes right back up, I'm fine, And like I said, that you regulate on a daily basis, so I prefer to do that, where the Wegovy and that other one, I can never remember the name of it, but you take that once a week. And, so this is in your system for a whole week. And if there's a problem, there's not much they can do to counteract it. And that's an issue, So I'll just, I just got a big problem with any new drugs. I just don't like anything new. Let's see. Ken says, knock on wood, but she's had no issues in this second. Doctor has her under control. First doctor let her numbers go 350 and 420. That's pretty high. I've gone that high on occasion, but I see my sweet spot. I mean, even though it's too high, but it seems to be about anywhere between 230 and 250. It's just still high, but not like dangerous high, I don't think. They want you to get them down around 90. If mine gets down to 90, I feel like I'm crashing. Really, anything under 100, I start feeling really bad, so I don't agree with that diagnosis. I mean, when I was younger, the first time I took my blood, I was not diabetic until I had the stroke. And I don't know what actually, the doctors, they don't know. They blamed it on the cigarettes. They blamed it on the soda. They blamed it on my high blood pressure. They don't know what the hell caused it, My mother had it before she passed, but she got it later in life, like almost 60. I got it at 47. Like I said, the stroke might have brought it on. But And it could be because I'm not active anymore either. I mean, the stroke limited my activity. Before that, I was always moving, always doing things. So, but I actually took my blood sugar readings a few times when I think I was like 18 or 19. I don't remember where I got the meter from, but I was curious, and let me check it out, And mine was between 140 and 145, and at that time that was considered normal. Now they consider that diabetic, and in fact, anything over 110 they consider you diabetic, which is bullshit. And they lower the numbers so they can get more patients. Same with the blood pressure. And my blood pressure is usually pretty low. Since they did all that work, my blood pressure runs like 116 over 70, sometimes 68. It's not enough to give me any problems, but I wish it were a little bit higher sometimes. But initially it was 125 over 75 was normal. And they lowered it to 120 over 70. And the reason they did that is because that put more people under that, pre-hypertension stage so they can get some drugs in you. And it's bullshit. It's just not right. Hey, Iowa fan, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Happy 4th, sir. So I'm not real thrilled with doctors anyway, and I just don't get along with them really well. I care about my body more than they do. For them, I'm a dollar symbol. I walk in the door, they know they're going to make money. For me, I'm not looking at the money. I'm looking at, am I going to live long? Am I going to be healthy? That's all I care about. I guess that's where the problem is. Me, I'm a little wore out there, Iowa, but other than that, I'm doing good. I've been very busy lately doing things here in the train room, and seems like the list of honeydews are getting longer and longer, and I don't seem to have the ambition to want to get anything done. But I will eventually. It's just a question of when. Hard telling. I mean, it's still light outside, but I haven't heard any fireworks at all today or even last night. Usually, people will set them off early. The weather's good, so it can't be that. So I'm thinking either nobody had money to buy any, or they're going to wait till last minute. The first year we moved here 4 years ago, we actually came here in July, and there were fireworks, and there was a lot of them, but they didn't start them until actually midnight, July 4th. And it lasted about an hour, and then all of a sudden it went quiet, like it never happened. So I have people in my town do it when it's sunny out. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of pointless when the sun's out, Supposed to do that shit at night, even though it does piss off some people, but they'll get over it. Rick says, I had a 10-year warranty on the camera job. The camera job up to you-know-what. But since my brother died of colon cancer, it lowered my warranty to pay out. I've never gotten a colonoscopy. I do that Cologuard where you shit in a box and they mail it off and they, whatever they do with it. My doctors, because you're supposed to get that when you turn 50. I'm 64. Actually, I'll be 65 in 2 months. But doctors, you ain't shoving nothing up my ass, okay? It's not happening, So he says, well, there's a new thing out called Cologuard. You defecate in a box and then you send it off. I said, well, I'll take that. So the first time I did one, I think it was 3 years ago, maybe 4. I don't remember now, but at the time they said, you do this once in your life, it comes back negative, you're good. You never have to do it again. Well, of course, it came back negative, so I'm thinking, well, we got that out of the way. Well, my doctor last year, I'm gonna get you another Cologuard because he knew that I wouldn't do colonoscopy. He says, it's time to do your Cologuard. I said, what do you mean? I said, you got to do it every 5 years. I said, why? So you can make money. They always get pissed off at me when I bring up the money, but hey, it is what it is. Now, insurance pays for that, but I understand it's like $800 or more for them to do the examination or testing on it. Once again, it's all about the money. But it came back negative too. So we've never had colon cancer. Really, have never had any cancer in our family except for my dad had some melanoma, skin cancer. He had some on his ear and a little bit on the tip of his nose. But he's spent his entire life outdoors. Mostly he's a house painter. He loved being outside, So he got a lot of sun. He never wore protective hats or anything. And, well, none of us wore sunscreen because they found out that actually causes cancer. So, he's the only one that ever got cancer, though. And it was so minor. And that was like when he was in his 80s. I think he was 83 or something like that, And it's like, yeah, I'm not that worried about it. If you keep your immune system healthy by eating right and taking good supplements, you'll never have to worry about cancer. They say everybody has cancer, but your body fights it off naturally under normal circumstances. So, don't do anything stupid like going vegan or, eating too much junk food because that's a recipe for cancer. Chuck says we had a few booms, then it rained and thundered. Well, that took care of that, didn't it? Yeah, well, like I said, I'm surprised it's not raining here, actually. We had like 2 or 3 good rains over a few days, and I just cut the lawn like a week ago. I got to do it again. It's about a foot tall. I mean, it's not really lawn, more weeds than anything else, but it grew almost a foot just in a week's time. Another job I don't really mind, but not something I really want to do, especially if it's hot outside. I try and do it like first thing in the morning when it's cooler out, and we're still seeing mid to high 70s for a couple hours in the morning, here anyway, so not that big of a deal. I imagine probably Sunday I'll probably go out and do it, because I got too much going on tomorrow and I got too much going on Saturday. I'm not going to have time to fool with it. I started putting together another chicken coop. It's actually a run, and I got to finish it. The wife's been up my ass. When are you going to finish the coop? I don't know, soon. I'm putting it off for a long time now, almost a week. It's sitting in my garage. My car's outside in the weather, so that sucks. So I got to get it done so I get my garage back. And, it is what it is. All I got left to do, and I got to put the door on and the frame for the door. It's literally about a 1-hour job. All the other stuff is done, except for I didn't put the mesh on yet. Usually I let Deb do that. It's easy enough for her to do, so it's like, you put it up, I'll cut it, because you have to trim some of the edges and stuff, but pretty simple thing to do, really. Damn chickens. Sometimes I think they're more of a nuisance than they're worth, but, the minute you run out of food, though, their worth will be pretty high. So, what else we got going on here? That's about it, really. Oh, well, Steve 87, he's not in here tonight, but if you see the replay, Steve, I haven't forgotten you. You did win a prize last week. I will get it mailed out. I'll try and get it out before the weekend. I got it sitting right here. I just got to find a box to put it in. Put the label on there and shove it in the mailbox, and it'll be off, and you should have it in a few days. So, like I said, I'm getting to the point now where I can only do one thing at a time. The what do they call that? Multitasking. Is not Not as good at it as I used to be. Yeah, was it AOC? I think she said, when you're multitasking, if you're good at multitasking, you can only do one thing at a time. And I'm going, you don't understand what that means, do you? That woman really is dumber than a box of rocks. And it's pretty hard to be dumber than that because, rocks are the epitome of stupid. And somebody be dumber than that? Not good. Hey, but, what are you going to do? So, what else I got going on here? I don't really know. Like I said, I'm itching to get more work done in here with the second level. But I can't do anything until I get more wood, and I can't get more wood till I fix the truck. It's kind of a catch-22 all the ways around. It's going to force me to fix the truck no matter what because I absolutely refuse to cart wood in my car. I'd done it for a while before I got the truck, and that's why I bought the truck, so I wouldn't have to do that shit, And then the truck breaks down, so, what the hell? Plus, the truck has good air conditioning in it. Knock wood, it probably won't after I get it running again. It'll be the next thing to go out, right? The thing is, the air conditioning is easy to fix on the truck. It's in a better location. So if the compressor did go out, and I think it takes the same compressor as my car. So, if I didn't get the car done first, I would go ahead and put a new compressor in the truck and just buy another compressor for the car or whatever I have to do. But, and so the car would have been done if they had kept the compressor up on top of the motor like they used to in the old days. But no, it's buried on the bottom, where you can barely get to it. The way it works is if I had a lift, it probably wouldn't be too bad, but I don't have a lift. So the easiest way for me to do it is to pull the passenger tire off the front. And if I can get the inner well out, which I might be able to, without removing the fender, then it'll be right out in the open and it'll be a piece of cake. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of tough to get at because they literally bury the damn thing in there. Plus the battery's on that side, so the battery's got to come out. Probably have to pull the battery box too, because I also got to change the dryer, which is just behind the battery box. And I got all new stuff for that. I mean, I got everything except for another condenser. I didn't get a condenser because the way the thing locked up, I don't think it contaminated the whole system. If it did, I guess I'll be screwed, but I'll know when I take it apart. But I got a new orifice and everything, so. And I got all the tools to do the work with. It just don't like doing this shit anymore. All right, Ken, we'll have a good one. Yeah, you can't give up on your grill services because that's an important job. So we'll see you later, man. Have a good one, and once again, happy 4th. So I've actually even cleaned up a little bit here. Well, here, let's change cameras here. You'll see that it's not the big mess that it was before. I'm cleaning it up slowly. Eventually, when I put the new track on and get it actually glued to the bench, the elevator rail, I'll probably start putting a lot of the stuff back up on here and get that out of the way. Of course, now that I've got more room, I had that whole back section against the wall was pretty much empty because you couldn't really get to it with the lower second level. But now that I've raised it, I got all that room there to put stuff in. Background buildings, even some small normal buildings. And so it really improves the whole dynamic of the bench work. So hopefully, and like I said, I'm going to be printing a lot of stuff that I need. Any background buildings, I'll print them. I could design a lot of stuff myself anyway. And if I see something I like, I can replicate it. And it'll save a ton of money because background buildings are not cheap. They're almost the same price as a regular building. I don't understand that either. you know. You're literally getting the front face of a building and too many sides, and you're paying the same money for that you paid for a full building. How the hell does that work? Ah, the wonder of horizontal surface. That's true, Chuck. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, it's weird, because it really did change the whole dynamic of the bench, Like I said, I don't want to pick up any track. The track is fine where it's at. I'm going to leave it. I was kind of really planned that the way it is, so that's fine. But I screwed up by having the second level too close to the first. And literally, you couldn't even get your hands in there hardly, So a lot of it was just empty space. I think there's about maybe 10 inches between the outer track section and the wall. So that's 10 inches deep of depth you've got practically all the way down. So that's a pretty big area, So, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. I'll have to look at it, piece by piece and say, all right, do I want to put this here? Do I want to put that there? And like I said, on this side, I'm going to run a highway because there's literally, I'd say maybe 14 inches. Yeah, probably close to 14 inches of empty bench work. I'm not going to put any rail back there because I've got my two main lines that's close to the front. And the elevated rail is actually going to be on the inside of the two mains. Because before I had it over the top of the outside main. Thinking back, that was kind of stupid, Because it made it difficult to get at anything, especially if you had a derailment or an uncoupling. So I'm going to put the elevated rail on the inside of the two mains. It's like on that one there, I put it on the outside of the two mains. And it worked out perfectly for that area. So I'm going to put a highway down it, probably a 2-lane highway, all the way down the whole length of the bench. And put some background buildings in, some industry probably. No houses, just all factories and stuff. And I can populate it with vehicles and So that's going to make a big difference too. Like I said, I opened up a whole bunch of room by eliminating the old system. Because I had a ramp that actually started right here and ramped all the way up, all the way down to the end, ramped up some more on the back wall, then ramped up a little bit on the left wall, and then leveled out for the second level. But the second level was only 9 inches off the first level. I mean, you're only talking, this much. It's not much. It was very dark. You couldn't really. I had buildings back there, background buildings. You couldn't even see them. So now that I'm 18.5 inches up, that opened up a whole bunch of room. So it's going to be nice. It's going to change a lot of things, and this way I don't have to mess up too much of what I've already done, And like the second level, like I said, on this side, you're going to have the staging yard there and the turntable, the engine shop, locomotive shop. And I think on the back wall, might have some background industry on there. And on the left side, well, I got there's a lot of stuff, a lot of room there I can put stuff. So even though it's narrower than the original one was 24 inches, 2 foot, and this is only 18 inches. And I figured, well, I'm going to put the rail toward the front anyway. And before I had the rail in the back, which was kind of stupid, It was hard to get at, and, and it really limited to what kind of buildings you could put up. Because I want to put my scrapyard back in. I want to make a bigger one. I don't think I'm going to do the intermodal on that. I might do the intermodal on that side. I'm not sure. That's where it was originally, but I don't know if I'm going to put it back there. You know, it's a tough call. I really don't know. It probably will be. So intermodal, the scrapyard, and the what's the other one? Damn it. The MOW yard, the maintenance away yard, was also up there. That's probably going to go back there too, or it'll be on the back wall because that doesn't take up a lot of space. So we'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of possibilities to what could go where. So I just gotta figure it out, you know. And then hopefully I can. I'm gonna probably wait until after hurricane season, which hurricane season went and it starts in June. It ends in November. So hopefully maybe December or January, I'll start on the outside expansion and have it done in hopefully 4 or 5 months. And then get the helix in, and then I can have operations between the lower level and the second level. We'll see. Plus, it'll open up a lot of area here because it's crowded as hell in here. Got printers all over the place. Got no place really to work. You know, poorly designed. I mean, I should have bought a second shed when I had the money. You know, like you get them any size you want. They'll custom build them for you. I could have got a 6x16 for probably half of what I paid for this. I paid $8,200 for this. So I could have probably got it for around $4,000 thereabout, and just basically have it butt up against it, knock the hole through both of them for a doorway, sealed it between the two, and there you go. You know, problem solved. But I don't have the money now, so we have to do it this way. It is what it is, I guess. So let's see what else is going on. That's about it, really. So does anybody have any plans to see fireworks later? Said I'm not going to because I don't even know where they do fireworks here. Now they got them at the raceway, Sebring racetrack, but which is only 2 miles from here. We could actually see them. Not like you're up close, but they usually do some sort of a little wing ding over there, so we'll see. I mean, I'm not going anywhere anyway, but, you know. See what else. That's about all I can think of to talk about. Nope, staying home. Fireworks don't interest me. Yeah, I'm almost the same way, Rick. It don't feel bad. Yeah, it is what it is. And Anthony says, raining here. I usually sit on my back porch and watch. Not sure if any tonight. That's a possibility, too. Of course, usually the big fireworks, they do operate in the rain. You know, so I don't know. I mean, we used to get, the small stuff that would, we used to, I never did it, but back when I was a kid up north, our school had 2 stories, upper floor and bottom floor, and they'd go on the top floor in the bathrooms, set off an M80, and flush it, and it would usually blow up about halfway between the floors and burst the pipe. I mean, these things were, a quarter stick of dynamite or whatever the hell they were, but they were pretty powerful. Thank God nobody ever got caught because they'd have brought a shitload of trouble. But some of the kids did it, light it, and like you said, they would burn underwater once you lit the fuse. You flush it real quick, and by the time it went off, it was about halfway down. Boom, busting pipe. Next day, you'd see them having to rip the wall open to fix the pipe. Yeah, sure, they were pretty pissed off, but hey, they're kids. What the fuck? Rick says, I'm going to try and go downstairs and maybe do something on the train layout. Well, there you go. Might as well make good use of the time, right? I mean, what else you got to do, right? Yeah, it was funny. I was watching Tom's show the other Wednesday. He was up north. I think it was in Maine. He was at some guy's house that had this massive layout. It looked like a basement layout, but it was massive, you know. And they were commenting, and some of the guys were going, you know, you spend a lifetime almost building these things and spend a boatload of money, and then you die, you know. I guess it doesn't matter in the end because we're all going to die anyway at some point, but you really think about it, I mean, you could tap tens of thousands of dollars into a layout if you have the money, you know. I mean, those of us that are more on the lower income end now, that I can't spend that kind of money, but I mean, if you count the shed, I've probably got 15,000 tied up in this place, maybe 20, you know, between the cost of the shed, all the wood for the bench work, lighting, electrical, the trains themselves. You know, how many engines do I got? I got 3, 6, 7, 8. I got 10 locomotives. They're all new. You know, some of them I paid $260 for, the scale trains, because they're the rivet counters. So I mean, you know, there's almost over $1,000 worth of locomotives there. I got over, I think, 130 cars. You know, train cars, and some of those were anywhere from, well, some of the better stuff was, you know, upwards of $30 each. Some of the other stuff's significantly cheaper, but yeah, it doesn't take long to throw a shitload of money into this hobby. So, you know. Anthony, how am I getting the second level? Well, we had the long run. I got rid of the long run because it was not very good and I couldn't get high enough. Like I said, the old second level was 9 inches off the first level, which was too short. Now the new one is 18 and a half, so I'm going to build another extension to the shed outside. It's going to be 6 foot deep, 6 foot deep by 16 foot long. And at the back of the 16, I'm going to put a helix in, and then just have a hole in the wall for the inlet and outlet for the helix. I'm not real big on helixes, but it's the only way you can really effectively do it, unless you have a massive, you know, amount of real estate to do the ramp. And my old ramp was, well, let's see, it was 27 foot long on this wall, almost 11 foot long on the back wall, and about another 4 foot on the left wall before it leveled out. And that was to maintain a 2% grade. The problem was 2% wasn't enough to get it more than 9 inches off the top of the lower level. So this here now way higher now, 18 and a half inches. And it opens, like I said, it opens up a whole area that really I couldn't use before on the lower level. And the second level is going to go all the way around. I got to get more wood to do the back wall. And I'm coming almost up to the front of this right wall. Like I said, I'm going to put a staging yard on the right wall. The turntable will go there. The loco repair shop will go there. And I think the back wall is probably going to have the intermodal yard, possibly, or the mow yard, maintenance away. And then the left side will have a new scrap yard, probably the intermodal yard because I got more room for it, and a few other things when I come up with them. So it'll be strictly industry up top and staging. So because I really had no place for staging, and you know, I got 2 drawers full of train cars, you know, and no place to put them. So I really needed the staging yard. So Rick says, yep, my father-in-law had no layout, but had trains from floor to ceiling all the way around the basement, 2 deep pre-war, and standard gauge and O-scale trains all went to auction when he passed. Oh, that's a bummer. A lot of money sitting there, man, especially the O-scale, you know. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know, when we finally do pass, you know, This will all just be a distant memory for somebody. Yeah. I'm sure the wife, I'm pretty sure she'll outlive me, I would think anyway. Women generally last longer than men, so it'll be up to her to dispose of all this stuff when the time comes. You know, hopefully she can get a decent price for some of it or all of it. You know. Well, it'd be really cool. I don't know if it could be done, but to sell the whole shed intact, you know, just disconnect the wiring, the main wiring coming in, and the plumbing for the sink, and you know, everything else is pretty much contained in it. The air conditioning is part of it. You know, wrap up the loose stuff and put it on a trailer and haul it someplace else. You know, I mean, I don't think you ever recover the money that you put into it, but yeah, you never know. I mean, who knows what'll happen down the road, but and who knows where I'll be with this down the road either. I mean, it may actually be finished or something close to it. Who knows? Who was it? A guy passed a couple years ago, and he had his basement was a massive layout in there. He had like multiple levels, and it was really just all filled in. You could barely move around in there. And when he passed on, they started selling stuff, and he had a lot of custom buildings, custom made stuff, and they started selling them all. And you know, I guess they got really good money for it, but it just kind of sucked, though. You know, like I said, we unfortunately we come into this. Most of us come into this hobby later in life. You know, wouldn't it be cool if you could start this at like when you're a teenager and have a whole lifetime to fool with it and build it? But most of us don't have the money or resources to do that. So we wait until we retire when we got some extra time, lots of time, and a little bit of money. And, you know, then you start building something. So, hey, it is what it is, you know. That's really all I can say about it. But, you know, like I said, I don't put much thought into it. I mean, you know, you can go anytime. Hopefully you'll be around for a while, but hopefully we all will be. Assuming that, you know, they don't blow the planet up with this World War III bullshit, but and there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to get too political, but if you guys have been paying attention, there's a lot of rumors going around about what Biden might do. Some think he might resign and hand the reins to Heels Up Harris. And that'll be scary, but I think she's so stupid that she won't be able to do anything of any consequence. Hopefully, anyway. As if there's any truth to it anyway. Nobody knows, you know. Anthony says, I'll be around at least till 106. Well, wouldn't that be cool to live that long? You know, the oldest living man on record, I think, is 118. And he's still mobile. He still has his mind is still intact and everything. Can you imagine that? 118 years old? That would be cool. I would do. I mean, I'd live forever if I could, you know. I'm not in any hurry to die. Rick says, I can't afford to buy any new stuff now. The prices, yeah, I know they did. I started looking at stuff. I was talking to Dave the other day, you know, Crooked Dave, and I said, you know, I was thinking about putting maybe an Acela Express on the elevated rail. It's futuristic and it's just modern, so it would fit right in with my layout, you know. Well, I started looking around. Bachman's got a DCC set. I think it's got sound with it. It's $600. And it's got one, you know, powered engine. The other one's a dummy. And I think 3 cars in between it. 3 or 4, I don't remember, but I mean, yeah, it comes with some track for an old one and a little controller, but I don't need none of that shit. I just need the cars and the loco. But $600, man. I'm thinking for a Bachman, you know. I mean, if it were an Athearn or, you know, some other real brand, I would probably consider it. But That's crazy money. I'm not going to do it, you know. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. I mean, originally I was just going to buy um, a Kato HO scale P42, I think it is. It's the not the Acela, but the just below the Acela. It's a pretty modern looking Amtrak locomotive. And I printed the cars. I have 3 of them. I had 4, but for some weird reason, the 4th one, I still have it. I should probably show it to you, but I got it buried right now. The middle bowed in it. I don't know how. I don't know. He got to it or something. I don't know. They're just sitting on the track. You know, I didn't run them or anything. And the damn thing, it's got a bow in it. Pretty severe bow, too. So it's like, well, that's junk now. So, and even the shell itself is even bowed. The shell is bowed. The chassis is bowed. So if that's going to become a problem with the rest of them, that's going to become a problem all the ways around. Well, like I said, worst come to worst, I'll buy new passenger cars if I had to. They're not terribly expensive, but you know, I can get like I said, I can get the P42 with DC, just DC one for I think $139 last I looked, and they're basically made to drop in a sound decoder and speaker and everything. There's no modifications necessary. It's actually built for it. So you figure another $100 for that. So I'm still under $300, you know. And then I use my Amtrak passenger cars, and I mean, I wanted to have a local on both ends since it's going to be going back and forth, you know. Even if one's, it'd be nice to have both of them powered. But, you know, I don't know if I want to spend enough money for 2 of them. Of course, I just have to put DCC motor controller in the back one. I don't need sound on both, you know. I don't know. We'll see. Rick says my MTH engines are around 550 to 600. Mine was more steam engine. Yeah, well, that's O scale, right? I know O scale is crazy expensive. As I said, I would have went O scale except for 2 problems. I don't have the money or the real estate. You know, I mean, I see some of the guys do it on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. John Nippenberg, he's got on a 4x4 sheet of plywood 2 levels. Not bad, but I wanted more than I really wanted to build out and have like a little miniature city almost. So to do that with O scale would cost thousands and thousands of dollars, and you need a shitload of real estate for it, which I don't have. So that's why I settled on HO. Yeah, you're right, Andy. It ain't cheap. But it is nice. I mean, I still prefer O scale over HO. Now, HO has more stuff available. Of course, with the advent of printers, now you can make whatever you want, any scale. So like I said, I made a water tower for John Nippenberg for his O scale setup, and you know, it's just a bigger tower. And he's real happy with it, and I was able to print that without any real problem. As a matter of fact, I printed an HO version. You've seen it. I don't have it up right now, but it's actually was based on a photograph that Dave Thurber gave to me. Excuse me. You want to know if I could make him one, which is what I did with the first one. I built it, sold it to him, and I said, you know, that's really nice. I think I'm going to build myself one. So I built myself one, and then John, he saw that, and he says, can you make that nose scale? I said, sure, you know. And at the time, I didn't have a resin printer, so the money I actually spent on it, I mean, it was really cheap printing it, but I had to buy the safety ladder, you know, with the cage on it. I couldn't print those. Now I have a resin printer, I can actually print them. So I had to buy them, and they were not cheap. I think the one for the O scale was almost $30, you know. And it was just under, well, it was just under half of what I charged them for the thing. I mean, I didn't make any real money. I didn't care. I wasn't looking to get rich off it, but you know. But that was the problem because I had to buy components that I couldn't make. Now I can make that safety cage, and I have the file for it. I can make it in O scale, HO scale, N scale, doesn't matter. So that will save me a ton of money if I want to make any future ones. Because you can't have a prototypical water tower without a safety cage on the ladder. So, you know, you're kind of stuck with that stuff, but that's just the way it goes. So now that I have, you know, 2 resin printers, 2 filament printers, there isn't too much I can't make, you know. I'm only restricted by physical size to some degree. Tom Grassi, hey, how's it going? We were talking about you earlier, too. Nothing good, no. Only kidding. How you doing, Tom? Happy 4th. Good to see you here tonight. Of course, you missed all the good stuff already, but you can check out the replay. Just mostly doing some printing and showing off my elevated rail so far. It's not done yet, but it's getting there. And I don't know if you can see it or not. Right there is the new station, elevated terminal or station, whatever you want to call it. I just got to hook up the power wire, and it's got a lighting is already done on it. It's ready to rock and roll. So, I'm surprised you and Barbara ain't watching fireworks. What the hell? I know, because it's probably still light up your way, I imagine. I was telling the guys, my Viper went down. It looked familiar. It's a hot end, what's left of one. The heat brake tube, it just snapped off. You know, it goes inside of here and it's supposed to go on there. Well, I had to order a whole new hot end from Amazon. It'll be here Saturday. It really sucks when that stuff breaks, you know. I should keep an extra one on hand so I could just swap it out right then and there, but maybe one of these days I'll order some extra parts to have them. They actually have some things, like I have the extra drive belts, if I ever need one, but I even got a couple of servos. I think of what they call, not servos, but what do they call them? You know, the motors that go on now. I think I got 3 extra ones from old printers. They'll work. So, you know, I got some stuff. I thought the filament feeder went bad on it, because it wasn't feeding any line through, you know, it was like jammed. So I took apart the feeder. It's fine. I cleaned it up and it was doing okay anyway. Put it back together, put it all in there, and it's still doing the same thing. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. It's not coming out of the nozzle. I just put a new nozzle in there. So I took the new nozzle back off, ran the cleaner through it, and it was jamming. It wasn't going anywhere. And I'm thinking, well, shit, what the hell's going on? So I took off the hot end. You couldn't see through it. There was a piece about maybe 1/8 of an inch long of filament that was jammed in there, and it just wasn't going anywhere. You couldn't get it out. So I went to unscrew the heat brake, and it snapped off in my hand. I got about 2 turns on it. Off it came. I said, well, I guess that solves that problem. I'll have to get a new hot end. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Oh, it's obviously we're going out to watch. I figured you'd take her out to do that. When do you do fireworks? So like a 9:30 somewhere, probably. Annie, you got 3 blue box kits. Cool. I'm gonna start buying some of them too. You know, they're fun to put together, and they're actually decent kits. You know, And there's so many of them out there, and they're not that expensive. So I said, I'm going to, at some point down the road, I'm probably going to start investing. I mean, I've bought a few already, and I have them on the layout, but I'd like to get more, you know. So that pretty much catches me up to everything. We're going to end this thing at 8 o'clock, so I got like, what, 18, 19 minutes left? Actually, we got 20 minutes left, but this clock's fast. Gonna have to readjust it. And he said you got it from a local seller, so you didn't get bent. Oh, that's good. They say you get bent over on so many things nowadays that if you don't get bent over, it's like a big, like, party throwing thing, you know. I can't believe how expensive shit got, you know. Every now and then, like, oh, you saw, I'll go to eBay or look even on Amazon, or I'll go to Walters, and just to keep an eye on prices and how they're jumping, you know. And it's like, man, they didn't go up a little bit. They went up a lot, you know. Talking like 40% increase in prices on some of this stuff. And I'm going, are you crazy? You know. They said Bachman, they're getting anywhere from 325 to 370 for most of their locomotives in HO scale. No, DCC and sound, yeah. Yeah, but still, that's a lot of damn money. When you start inching close to 400, that's a little over the top, as far as I'm concerned. You know, especially for Bachman. The scale trains, I think their rivet counters now are going for 283 or 293. I don't remember. They're still under 300 last I looked, which was about a month ago. So I don't know, it might have went up over that now. But, you know, 300 even not too bad. But you're getting to that point now where it's like, is it really worth that much money? You know. And Dave Thurber, he's had a lot of problems with some of his scale trains locos. I've got some problems with two of mine. They're both rivet counters. The ES44s. You know, they're just making a ton of noise. I think it's a lubrication problem. I gotta literally tear them down to nothing almost to get to the trucks, because it seems like the problem would be in the trucks. I mean, I can lube the motor assembly. That's easy, without too much to do. But to get to the trucks on those, you got to literally tear the whole train down. It's a stupid setup the way they got it done, you know. Like Athearn has a plate underneath the truck, a couple of screws. You drop the plate, there's your gear set. On scale trains, you have to take the whole thing apart, drop the truck from the chassis, then pull the sides off, which are tricky because they got tabs on them that, you know, hold them together. Then you can get the bottom half of the gear cover off. Why in the fuck they made it that way is beyond me, you know. For maintenance issues, it's kind of a big deal, you know. Rick says $114 for one Atlas intermodal car. That's a lot of money. And then $25 for the container, and that's crazy too. The containers were only $12 not long ago. I don't know what the intermodal cars were going for, but I don't think they were that expensive. Like I said, it's crazy. Yeah, well, it is a lot of work to do, Rick. It's a real pain in the ass. You're talking, basically, it's a major operation just to lube or check out the truck, you know, the gears of the truck. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they designed that one. You know, almost every locomotive I've ever touched, and I've touched a few anyway, you know, you get the truck, you didn't have to remove the truck to, they said to pull the bottom cover to expose the gear sets. They usually had a couple of either 2 or 4 screws to hold it in, the plate. You take that off and there's your gears, and you can pop them out, clean them, lube them. You know, piece of cake without having to drop the truck. And like Dave pointed out, the way they wire these locos, the wires, there's no leeway in them, you know. And they thread them through the weights and all that other stuff. I mean, it's real clean looking, you know. You pop the shell off and it's like, wow, that's really immaculate, you know. But then when you go to work on it, now you got a clusterfuck on your hands, you know. And I don't know why they did that, because like I said, you know, you risk breaking wires just trying to get the trucks off, you know. It's really, I mean, I thought they were, I like scale trains, they still do. But as time is going on, we're finding out they're not quite as good as we were originally led to believe, you know. There's issues with them. And Dave had one where the decoder went bad, and I guess, so they got real wonky on them real quick. But they're ESU decoders, and that's what I have in mind, except for the one I got. I'm still working on it. I got it. The motor wiring is all set up, but and the sound is set, but I've got to put wire to lights in. I didn't know about a decoder buddy at the time, so in order to wire the lighting into that, you have to resistor every wire. Well, half of the wires anyway, you know, one side of the LED, otherwise you'll blow out the LEDs. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. If I had a decoder buddy, I wouldn't have to worry about that, but I didn't know about those. So any future swap outs I do, I'll buy that $20 decoder buddy, you know. It makes a big difference. But you know, they're not an easy model to work on. I said, I'm not a big fan of ESU for decoders. They're okay, but they're not great, and they can be troublesome, you know. So, and it's like everything today, you know. Everything's getting recalled, everything's breaking down, you know. Half the problem is just the companies don't want to invest the proper money into anything anymore. The other problem is you got employees, they're the workers, they don't give a shit. You know, they'll slap the stuff together, that's good enough, you know. I'm going to get my $30 an hour, so they're not going to get too much for that, right? And these are the problems we're seeing in the workforce today. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is, you know. And unfortunately, I don't have the equipment to build my own locomotives. Yeah, I could print bodies all day long, the shells, but, you know, you start talking about, you know, metal chassis and stuff. I have no way to build that stuff. And I'm not bad with electronics, but I'm certainly no genius, so me building my own decoder ain't going to happen. You know. So, I mean, you're really at the mercy of what's out there, and that's just all there is to it. But that's probably always why it's important to try and learn as much as you can about the hobby so that you can do almost every aspect as far as repair and maintenance. You know, like I said, the decoders weren't that much of a deal for me because I already have a good computer knowledge, a basic computer knowledge, so the decoders is nothing. And plus, I used to play with RC cars for a long time ago. They're similar, you know, the little decoder boxes on those, except that, you know, they're Wi-Fi, you know, or Bluetooth, whatever you want to call them. But, you know, I got an understanding of all that stuff, so that helps. But a lot of guys that are newbies, not so much, and that's tough on them because then they got to rely on sending it back to the dealer or the factory, and, you know, who knows if you're going to get ripped off or not. And he says, always in danger of getting a Friday night. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 4:55 in the afternoon. It's almost quitting time. Throw it together and get out of there. You know, that's somebody else's. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of truth to that, you know. And I've got stuff that I swear was either built on a Friday or a Monday. Mondays are just as bad because you come in, you're all groggy. You had an exciting, fun weekend, drinking and getting drunk and all that shit. You're probably half hungover. You go to work and they expect you to do something useful. It's not going to happen. So Mondays and Fridays are bad days. Matter of fact, they even tell you that if you schedule an operation, don't do it on a Monday or Friday. And don't do it after first thing in the morning. You want to be one of the first ones to get it done because the surgeon will be refreshed and awake. You get one late in the afternoon, there's a greater chance of him being tired and fucking up and you dying. So, you know. And good words of wisdom as far as I'm concerned. So, I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. But, you know, I've had problems with Bachmann in the past. I said I bought a Bachmann steam engine, and the damn thing wouldn't stay on the track, you know. Everything else worked fine, but not that Bachmann. It was not a real long one, like a big boy or anything. I think it was an 062 or an 060. I don't remember now. I think it was an 06. No, it was an 064. Zero in the front, six drive. No, it was an 042. That's what it was. Okay. Two sets of drive wheels, none in the front, two in the back, trailing wheels. And that fucking thing, brand new, it kept derailing. Now, I'm pretty sure it was the loco because everything else ran fine on the track. And I had longer engines, you know, six-wheel diesels that, no problem. So I wound up selling the damn thing and figured somebody else's problem. Yeah, that's true, Tom. It's the same thing about buying a car. Don't get one on a Monday or Friday, you know. Remember my dad when he bought his Gran Torino wagon in '73, bought it brand new. We got it home, and the next day it started getting a real weird rattling noise in the rear of the car. And you know, if you remember, well, the older guys remember with the hubcaps. If you got a pebble on the hubcap, it would do the same thing. You had to pull the cap off, let the pebble drop out, put the cap on, you were fine. Well, at first that's what we thought it was because the car had hubcaps, right? So we pulled all the hubcaps off. No, it's not that. You know, looked under the car to see if the exhaust maybe was rattling. It's all fine. So this shit went on for about a week, and I said, you know what, let me pull one of the panels off in the back inside, you know. So the one opposite, the spare tire was on the, I think it was on the right-hand side or left, I don't remember. It's on one side or the other. I pulled the tire out, that was fine. Then the other side, which didn't have a cover, or didn't have a door, I pulled that cover off. You know what I found in there? A fucking Pepsi bottle. An empty one. They just dropped it in there, and that's what was rattling around. I guess at first it must have been wedged in there, and then it worked loose, and it was rattling around in there. Took it out, so sound went away, and it was good to go. Yeah, I don't know what day that car was made, but probably a Friday. Yeah. Hey, I don't know where the trash can's full. I don't know what to do with his empty Pepsi bottle. I'll just throw it in the car, you know. Assholes. Probably did it on purpose. But, you know, it is what it is. So, what are you going to say? Let's see, what am I going to do here? I think I'm pretty much done in here tonight, for the night. I still got to level out some of that overhead rail. There's a couple of, well, down in the valleys, I had to make like pads, simulated concrete pads to get so that it's perfectly level, because this time I'm doing it right. The old one actually had some waves in it, not real bad, but they were there nevertheless. I don't want any waves in the rail at all. I want it dead level all the way around. So I have to make the pads at different thicknesses. Like that one there, I think is about 2 millimeters. The one that's under there now is 2 millimeters too short. So I'll make a new pad that's 2 millimeters taller than the other one, which I think were 10 millimeters in height. And this way I'll get dead level track. So it's coming along. Like I said, I'm not in a hurry. I'm taking my time. Something I don't usually do, but I need to. And this time it's going to be right. It's going to be right, you know. I'm not going to take shortcuts. Not going to say, oh, okay, it's good enough, because it won't be. So any of you guys that are doing this stuff, take my advice. Take the time to do it right. Otherwise, you'll pay for it dearly later. And that's never fun. So let's see. We're at 7:55. We got 5 minutes left. What can I say in closing? Oh yeah. So keep an eye on what the hell's going on with the government, because I don't know what they're going to pull, and I can't believe that they're going to put Kamala Harris in as president. I just don't. It would only be for a few months, but if it were a few minutes, that'd be a few minutes too long. I heard other rumors of saying that Biden's refusing to step down. That if they want to take him out, they're going to have to do the 25th Amendment on him. That he's unfit for office, which he is. But then who are they going to put in? There's rumor that Hillary might run against Trump again. That was the worst. Hey, Sparky, how's it going? That was the worst debate. It wasn't even a debate. It was more of a pissing match. That clearly Trump won. But it was just stupid. It wasn't even a real debate. Yeah, well, I don't know much about handicaps, but apparently wasn't quite right. Yeah, I think you're right, Anthony. They probably are up to something. I don't know, but I don't trust them. I saw something yesterday on a video. Two possible scenarios. But it's all based on the fact that Biden will win the election, which he's not going to. They said if he wins, he'll get rid of Heels Up Harris and he'll bring in Hillary Clinton. So he wins the presidency. He resigns the next day after he takes the oath, and Hillary becomes president, which is scary as hell, by the way. But that's assuming that Biden's going to win, and he's not going to, especially after the debate. The other one is that how it was so. Oh, Big Mike, Michelle Obama, she's going to run in his place. They think she can win, which I don't believe she can, but if she wins, she'll pick Barack, her husband, as vice president. And then shortly after she takes the oath, she'll resign, putting Barack back in president for a third term, which they say is completely legal, which it would be because, and I've been arguing this for many years, the Constitution says you can't do more than 2 consecutive terms. So you do your first and second term, you sit the next one out. Legally, you should be able to run for a third term, do another term for your 2 consecutives, sit the next one out, and you can literally do that for the rest of your life. Because the original Constitution, there was no term limits on the presidency. That's a fact. You can look into that. They wanted Washington to stay in for life, and he said no, it wouldn't be right. But they never modified the original Constitution to limit the 2 terms. That was actually Roosevelt that served 3 terms. He was the first and only president to serve 3 terms, consecutive terms. And he decided, well, I did it, but nobody else is going to beat me, so I'm going to write a law. And he did. He did an executive order limiting the presidency to 2 consecutive terms. Yeah. A lot of horseshit going on in the whole government. Me personally, I think Trump is in there and that's all there is to it. The way it goes. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock, so I got to call it a night. Just trying to help you with your last 5 minutes. There you go. Thanks, Sparky. I need all the help I can get, all right, guys. Well, yeah, I think there should be, there's an age limit on the low end, but there should be one on the high end, too. I think realistically 70 is probably a fair number. But, what do I know, right? All right, guys. Well, listen, have a good night. Thanks for popping in. Everybody have a excellent Independence Day and a good weekend for those of you whose schedules will carry you over the weekend. Some guys will have tomorrow off. Maybe. Anyway, have a good and safe weekend. Be safe. Don't blow your fingers off with any fireworks, because that would suck, and it's hard to handle trades with, if you're lacking all the fingers you need for it. And We'll see you next week. Okay, so good night, everybody. And, well, here's the outro. I didn't do any different for the outro because I couldn't find anything. So we're going to have the same asshole screwing around with the signal. That's just the way it is. All right, where is it? There you go. You may be right about that, Sparky. Let's see here. That one there. Give them all a middle finger. Ah, you got all of it. Let me shut that off. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Good night, everybody.